How much time are you spending on all of your social media? Really getting in depth on how much time you're spending on social media. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that today on how you can break the habit and why you should. Welcome to episode 52 of the Positivity Experience, Detoxing from Social Media. Check it out. Hey everybody, and Happy New Year. This is the very first episode of 2022. It's literally, I'm recording this on the 1st. So I'm super happy to be going into the new year with you guys, and I'm super grateful for last year with you guys. So to kind of catch you up to speed, I did go to get some laser peel. I got 3 different lasers on my face. So my face is now slowly coming back to normal. And then it'll take about 2 to 3 weeks to really start seeing any kind of results. So I'm super excited about it. Really happy I did it for my sun damage, and it's supposed to help with some fine lines. So we'll see. But I was very fortunate to not have any pain through it. No pain in the recovery. It looked a lot worse. Everybody's like, oh my God, it looks so painful. It can look painful, but it wasn't. So I did that, and I'm talking to you on a brand new microphone that my husband got me for Christmas. It's like a big, fancy, big time podcaster and like announcer microphone. So I'm really excited to be using it. And I did record some footage of that laser for my YouTube. And when I do like a progression of it, then I'm going to go ahead and post it on YouTube. So don't forget to find me there. But let's talk a little bit about that, because going into not just this year, but every day thereafter, right? Well, first and foremost, we don't just say we're going to start this on January 1 or we're going to start this on Monday. We've had this conversation. We are not going to just not do things until a certain time. That's just looking for an excuse, right? But think about how much time you spend on social media. I really want you to dissect that. Now, you're not going to know unless you have your screen time on or you're just aware of it, right? Because think about how many times you've rolled over in the morning, grabbed your phone, started going through stuff, emails, socials, all of those things, right? And then you go to bed, you spend hours on it. Possibly, right? I'm going to give you my strategy because I know I have a really big presence because a lot of what I do is social media, right? It's not my full-time job, obviously. I mean, I have clients, but it's a huge part of me. It is a part of me and my brand, and TikTok is my biggest platform. So, and TikTok's amazing, but it can also be an extreme time suck. Extreme time suck. You start scrolling at 8 o'clock and you're not done scrolling until 1 o'clock in the morning, and you don't even realize where time went. So this is where you're not using social media for the tool. You're using it as a distraction. So think about how much time right now you say to yourself, I got so much to do, but you know what? I'm just going to scroll a little bit. I'm just going to scroll, right? And again, it can be fine, but it should not be an enormous amount of your day, number one, and it cannot be used just to escape life, right? And this is where I'm going to tell you my strategy. It may or may not work for you. And some of you are like, well, I don't even go on socials that much. And that's fine. That's great. But we're in a world now where it's 24/7 news cycle. Realistically, right now, I'm in the United States. If I decide I need to know what's going on in Japan right now, I can hop right on the old Google and figure out what's going on in Japan right now. If I need to know where to vacation, where's the hot spots of vacation, I can hop on, go to YouTube, see some destinations. That's tools. That's using it as a tool. That's beautiful. We need that. We need that tool. Well, we don't need it, but it's great to have that tool to really get you into the things that you want to do, right? Different research and studies. Now, this is where it becomes tricky. Number one, especially if you have health anxiety or any other anxieties, stay off Google. Do not start Googling symptoms. Do not start going down that rabbit hole. You will constantly, your brain will only go to the negative. Your brain will solely focus on the negative. It's not going to focus on anything else. All right, so you got to stay off Google. Okay. Now let's talk about when you go on your socials. This can be very problematic, especially if you fall victim to comparing yourself to other people. Right? So if you are a person who looks at somebody's stuff They're socials, right? And again, you're seeing it from your vision only, right? You might see the happy little family, or you might see a brand new car. You might see a beautiful beach house. You might see any of those things. And then you start thinking, oh my God, well, I don't understand. Like, I'm never going to get there. Or, you start going down this, oh, I'm not skinny enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm too short. I'm too thin. I'm too fat. Like, you start comparing yourself. Yeah, that's not okay. First of all, I do not want you doing it in real life, much less on socials. But the amount of time that you are spending on social media, you could be spending bettering yourself, purging your house, purging your closet. You could do other stuff with it. And it is a true addiction for many people. Like, seriously. I know everybody's like, oh, well, you could just like not. Well, no, it's becoming an addiction. Literally, in my daughter's generation, they are called the screen generation. You know how there's like Gen X, Gen Z, boomers, No, screen generation. So here's how this has got to work. Okay. First of all, you have to be able to structure out your day. In your life, your day, your week, your long-term goals. You got to structure it out. Stop trying to do it in your head on the fly. You know what I'm saying? How many times have you said, oh my God, I got so much to do. I got to do this. I want to do that. And you start playing it in your head. Now it's on loop. That's a problem. You have to structure it. It's something that I've been working on, and all day, my day tomorrow is all about like sort of reformatting different things and the structure of my day anyway. And that's just something that I do, not just because it's the new year, but I do it about every 3 to 6 months, because you're going to find things that are going to work. You're going to be like, well, I don't even need that much time to do this. So it's a constant inventory of your time. And you have to dedicate that time to make this happen. So I'm going to tell you what my strategy is, because it's about enjoying social media without it being an escape and without comparing yourself to others and just going, oh my God, I just can't do anything but scroll. Okay. First of all, you can. We're going to stop using that word. I can't. I don't know how. Okay. This is why you're here with me. Okay. So I spend about an hour a day. With the exception, I'm going to tell you the exceptions in a second. But I spend an hour a day on all my socials, not an hour on Instagram, an hour on TikTok, an hour in total. In total. Okay. Now, the exception to that rule is I do TikTok lives on Sunday morning and Tuesday evening. Okay. So I'm usually on about an hour and a half. It was a lot longer. I've had to reel that in. I'm going to really try to stick to the hour and a half, like maximum. And so that is in addition to, right? But it's intentional. I'm intentionally going on TikTok to answer questions and answers. So it's also part of my job, right? So that's the exception. And then sometimes on a Saturday night or a Sunday, I might, scroll through, and I have a lot of videos saved of like recipes and organizational things. So I'll go on and I'll go through them, but you may see me post on Instagram or TikTok or something else, especially TikTok, like 4 or 5 times in a day. You might think, oh my God, like you got to be on socials more. No. Not often are they done on the fly. They're done and then they're in my drafts. So I can go on and I can just release it out into the world, right? It's really that easy. So another big thing that I'm doing is when I'm structuring it, I'm really going to dedicate like a day in the evening, like after clients, to recording more than one podcast at a time so I can be ahead of the game, right? And also the same with my content. So I want to be able to have everything, and I do now, but I'm just like fine tuning it, where I can get all of my stuff. I put it in a little schedule releaser and it releases it out. So you might think I'm on TikTok 800 times a day, but I'm not. Okay. So I also have my screen time set on my iPhone, and then they also have something like that on Droid. And it's great because you have to police yourself. It's not just going to happen. What I don't want you to do is just go like, okay, it's January 1. I'm not going to get on socials that much. Okay, stop. First of all, that's a goal it's really a dream because you don't have a plan. What's your plan? Well, just not be on. No, that's not a plan. So, and this, not just for socials, but for any of the goals that you're trying to reach, you must be intentional. And I don't mean just like, well, I am intentionally setting this. No, that's not what I'm saying. You got to map it out. Treat yourself like you would a client or a doctor's appointment, right? Put it in your schedule. I color block all the time. I'm going to do a whole podcast on like organizing your day. Seriously, because I feel like so many people just think that people just get up and people do, and I've done it, like just get up and wing the day. I mean, it's easy. Like if you book a session with me, you're doing it online. So it automatically populates my calendar. Super easy, right? The idea is to work smarter, not harder. Okay. So when you're on social media, ask yourself why you're going on there. Well, I'm just bored. Okay, that's fair. But how much time are you going to give yourself on there? I mean, I don't know. No. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. So yeah, there's times like if I'm on vacation or something like that, I might spend a little bit more time on it, but I don't want that time to suck away. You know what I'm saying? Basically, social suck your time. And then I look around, I'm like, wow, that was a waste of time. I enjoy it. I enjoy my social medias. Most of us do. But it's going to be enjoyable if you're using it as a tool and not a distraction. Because very often you're just like, I just want to get away from life for 5 minutes. Well, that's why I have my games, right? So you might still see me, like if we were out, you might see me on my phone. That doesn't mean I'm social mediaing. Now, I will say I do update my Instagram stories, but it literally takes like nothing. It's just an update. If I'm making lunch, I might film my lunch in case you want to make it. So it's not, again, it's a tool. All right. So there are a few exceptions, like I said, but it's intentional. So when you are deciding about your social medias, here is a rule. If this is something you want to do, here's a rule. Do not grab your phone in bed in the morning. Do not do it. You got to turn off your alarm. Fine, that's whatever. But when you're grabbing it, do not go on your socials. It's not that deep. I promise you, those social media apps will still be there. But you have got to start your day not by grabbing your phone to go on socials. And you do not go on socials an hour before bed, minimum. And if you're like, oh, but that's kind of, okay, well, then you're not going to do it. Like, you don't get to do anything, including this, in a way that you think you're going to be comfortable. Okay, so maybe you say one night on a Friday night, I'm going to lay in bed, I'm going to TikTok, or I'm going to lay in bed in Instagram, or I'm going to, whatever it is you're going to do. Fine, give yourself, but don't do it all night. And here's the thing, if that already sounds too hard for you and you're making excuses, you're not going to do it. Period. If you start making excuses on any topic that I'm talking to you about, you're making an excuse. You are. Well, I don't know how. I know. This is why you have access to certain things. This is why you have to do the legwork. This is why you have to allow yourself to do it. It's not just going to happen. You don't go, okay, well, I can tailor it down a little bit and like I'll only go on my phone like an hour less than what I'm doing now. You got to give yourself a hard schedule. And no one is going to do it for you, right? You got to hold intention to it. Hold your feet to the flame, right? You got to tell yourself that you can do it. Because if you're the person, right, who says, oh man, I can't, like I start a project and I just never finish it. Or, because I'm a binge eater. So, that rears its ugly head for, a good amount of times. So I always have to say, okay, well, it's fine. I'm going to pick up tomorrow and I'm going to do what I need to do. And every time I do it, it becomes a little bit less and a little bit less stressful. But it's intention and it's patience. And again, if you're a social media influencer, beautiful, but you still don't need to be on there all day. You work smarter, not harder. You schedule your posts. You schedule your recordings. I schedule my podcast to be released at 7 a.m. on Sundays. I'm not getting up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday to release it. That's already scheduled. Okay? So again, must be intentional. And allowing yourself to only use it if it's a tool, or you're just going to say, okay, for 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to scroll. I'm going to tell you this, though. Don't do it while you're eating lunch. Don't do it while you're eating lunch, because then you're going to start mindlessly eating. So there's going to be a few things, and especially through this month of January, I want to kind of give you guys like, hey, if this is what you're dealing with, this is going to be effective for you. Now, it's only going to be effective if you implement it and you actually do what it is that you say that you're going to do. Okay? So be intentional, write it down. Pen to paper. You know I'm a pen to paper kind of gal. I mean, I'll drop notes into my iPhone or into like another notes app or whatever. Like I'll drop notes in there, but I'm not going to make some big ass plan on my phone, right? I use Canva for a lot of things. I've done all of my sort of templates on my Excel or my words or numbers. And I have different things set up and I treat myself like I would a client. So when 11:45 comes, if I'm done at 11:45, I'm done at 11:45. It doesn't matter if I'm not completed a project. We're stopping when I say we're stopping for myself, right? So you have to realize you automatically tell yourself, oh, I don't know how to stick to things. Oh, I always try, but then it doesn't work. Okay, you literally just gave yourself every reason to not be successful at it. I don't care what happened in the past of you not fulfilling it or not following through with it. That's fine. We're here now. Stop doing that. And here is another key. Across the board, socials and any other part of your life, do not think in black and white. Like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure that I'm only on socials for 10 minutes a day. Okay, calm down. Like, let's be realistic here. We are not cutting things just completely out. Okay, so that's going to be helpful. Then what I want you to do, here's a little bit of homework for you. So if you're driving, we're right around 17 minutes in the podcast. So if you're driving, you can go home and you can, if you need to write this down, it's not going to be that difficult to remember. But I want you to go on all of your platforms, right? Whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of your platforms where you follow people, Twitter, right? And I want you to ask yourself, and you have to be really honest with this, okay? Are the people who I'm following, right? Are they people who are giving me tools and enhancing me, whether it be entertainment, whether it be education? Is it making you feel better or, like honest, right? Or do you find yourself gearing towards like news sites, right? So like, I'm not a Facebook girl, right? Like, I go on there and I store photos and I do posts because a lot of my clients are on there. And, yeah, I'll do that. But I follow like the local news station here. I like to know if we're going to have school the next day or what the weather is or whatever. Oh my God. As soon as anything remotely political or not even political comes up, I stay out of the comments because I know there's like 700, 800, 900 comments. And I just click on it, every now and again. And people bitch and complain about everything, right? And so that doesn't serve me. That energy does not serve me. So I just boom, unfollow it and you don't have to unfriend. You can unfollow a post. So I still like to know what they're doing. But as soon as I see some political post or what people are considering to be a political post, I'm unfollowing it. So your homework is to go through all of your socials. Put time in this. Again, intention. If this seems like too much, don't care. Do not care. If it's too much and you don't want to do it, then you're not going to do it. Okay? So you set the intention and you go through and you say, is this enhancing me or is this bringing me comfort? If it is not, unfollow, unfriend on any of those things. Okay? And this will be a big test for you too to see your level of, social media addiction. And you'll also be aware when you go through that, if you find yourself being drawn towards like the catastrophes, like, how they say, oh, if you see a train wreck, you kind of can't look away because it's like a catastrophe, right? So the catastrophic way of looking at your social media and allowing yourself to, get angry or get irritated, or it's not about putting your head in the sand. This isn't about avoiding because you don't have the cojones to face something. That's different. That's not avoidance. That's called distance. Don't get those two things confused. So if it's your mom, if it's your sister, if it's your brother, if it's your best friend, I don't care who it is, if they are constantly in a complaining state on social media, you need to unfollow or unfriend them. If they want to talk to you, let them text you. If they get some kind of an attitude, that's a them problem, not a you problem. So when you do that, the amount of time that you spend on there will be quality. You will have quality time on your socials because that's me. That's what I do, right? I make sure that everybody that I follow has, brings something to the table. And when I mean bring something to the table, it's, does it make me smile? Do I find it funny? Is it educational? Is it something that I enjoy? Is it, period. That's it. And listen, everybody's going to have the moments, right? So, you might need to unleash a little bit, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to unleash, and this is constantly your chronic journal, out into the public world. Absolutely not. So if you're a complainer on your socials, you need to check yourself immediately. If you start going, I don't understand. Why do people blah, blah, No. Well, first of all, if you're on my socials, I'm going to unfriend you quickly. And if you're bringing negativity, again, unfollow, unfriend. So you have to ask yourself, or remind yourself that even if somebody's family or friends or whatever, they don't get a free pass to make you feel bad. And of course, they don't make you feel anything. You allow yourself to feel bad by looking at their socials. So you have to be willing and really commit. Sorry about that. I have a little short in my wire. And really commit to allowing yourself to really police yourself. Only read and feed things to your brain that are beneficial, that are going to benefit you. All right. So obviously on Instagram, super easy. If it's not, unfriend, unfollow, easy. On TikTok, you don't like it? Long press the screen. Not interested in this type of content. Cool, gone. Right off your FYP page. Okay, Twitter, super easy, unfollow. Facebook, even easier, unfriend or unfollow. If you unfollow the post or you unfollow the person, doesn't mean that you've unfriended them. You just won't see their stuff unless you intentionally go there. It is one of the best things that you can do because it is scientifically proven with so much fact-based evidence here that people, and I've said this to you before, if you look at a post, a tweet or whatever, the engagement that it gets, if it's negative, it is going to blow up. It is going to go viral. Rarely, not super rarely, but rarely, do you find that these positive posts really have legs and they're really growing and they're really there and everybody, because people aren't yelling and they're not arguing. Do not put yourself in a space where you're engaging. I'm telling you, and I've said this to you before, I block people like it's a profession on TikTok. I block them. Okay. If you start coming in hot to me, I'm blocking you. I'm not going to argue with you. Okay. It's not about, oh, you don't agree with me. I'm an adult. You don't have to agree with me, but you won't come in talking some nonsense, not to my community, right? Because I'm very, very protective over people on my socials, because people aren't coming to my socials because they have $800 million and they don't know what to do with it. They're coming to my socials because they might not have a voice anywhere else. So I'm going to try to keep it as safe as possible. And I will block somebody like it's, like I said, a profession. I'm okay with that. And here's the thing. You have to realize this blocking people and unfriending and unfollowing things that don't serve you on social media will trickle into other areas of your life. So if you find yourself being this big people pleaser with a fawn response, and you find yourself, oh, well, I don't want them to be upset with me. And because, I don't know, somehow or another, we're in this space now where if somebody unfollows you on social media, it's as though they punched you in your face. Like, oh, they unfollowed me on social media. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. If somebody, because I'm a direct approach person. If somebody doesn't like to be called out on the table and they don't like it and they unfollow me, okay, then I'm not for you, because I'm not going to change up to make you more comfortable. And you might not be ready to do the work. And that's a you thing, not a me thing. I'm not going to take it personal. right? And so when you start practicing this, like I said, on your socials, it will roll into your life. Not might, will, but you got to be consistent. You have to practice it consistently, as with anything else. Okay? Consistency is going to get you consistent results. Inconsistency will get you inconsistent results. So you really do need to think about how much time you're spending on these socials. And a good way to do it, right, is to, if you have an iPhone, do screen time. If you have a Droid, there's also a screen time option. Okay? And sometimes what's to put along with that is to write it down too. Good, pen to pad. Okay? Or to set an alarm on your phone. Say, okay, I'm going to set, because sometimes you can just scroll and time like slips away. Just that's how it works. So you can set a timer. Say, okay, like I don't need a timer because I'm really specific about it. And you got to be that same way with text messaging, with emails, with all of those things. Don't just answer emails and text messages at 10 o'clock at night if you don't want to. You don't have to. Okay, so be intentional. In this entire year, entire day, entire decade, entire century has to be done with intention. Don't mindlessly eat. Don't mindlessly scroll. Sometimes those small increments you can. And you can also treat yourself like a child, right? So give yourself social media as a reward system, right? Do not get on your social medias in the morning till you get up. If you've done any exercise, you've done any stretching, you brushed your teeth, gone to the bathroom, maybe you've gotten your coffee, maybe you're sitting down. Now, go on there for a few minutes, right? Every morning, what I do is my first 35 to 40 minutes after I've done taking Sienna to school, I've eaten, if I'm going to work out, I can't do any kind of working out with my face right now. But any of those things that come into play, then I dedicate with intention time to record my TikToks for the day or my Instagrams, and I go through my schedule the night before, and I really start working on, what do I want to talk about? Don't just off cuff it. All right? Don't just on the fly. Now, there are some times where I'm like, oh my God, that's really cool. I'm going to do a TikTok on it. That's fine. Okay? So that's going to be your homework, because again, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you're just mindlessly scrolling on social media, you're probably mindlessly doing other things in your life too. So the way and if you need to remember this, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So don't be like, oh my God, I'm really great at work, but I'm not at home. Then you're not great anywhere. You might do better at work, but you're not great anywhere. Right? So you always have to look at the parts of you, the areas where you need to work, your weaknesses, for a lack of a better term, and focus there. Dedicate time to that. Dedicate time to switching and flipping your mindset, which I promise you I have a whole podcast coming on switching your mindset. It's coming. It's on my list. And so keep that in mind. You have so much more power over your life in certain areas of your life than you even know. You can absolutely control how much time you spend on social media. You have that ability. You have every ability on not engaging in battle in real life or on socials, right? So that's going to be a big thing of homework for you if you're ready to do it. If you're not ready to do it, then don't do it. You can't half-ass this. Don't do it for 3 days and then be like, oh, I don't know, I just lost time. I just told you, set an alarm. Okay, so remember, it's how bad you want something. How many times have you said, I want to do these things, but you don't really want to do them. They're just more of like, ugh, kind of have to do them. And you really find every reason to not do it. No. It's easy to do the easy things. It's easy to do things you want to do. It's easy. Duh. But nothing grows in the comfort zone. Never has, never will. So if social media is your downfall and you find yourself using it as an escape of reality, of just to get away from the world, and you're doing that on a regular basis, then you definitely have to check yourself. Some life coaching with me is good, some therapy. There's a lot of other layers to unpack with social media addiction. Okay? But most importantly, go through your socials. Unfollow and unfriend anything that is not bringing you joy at least 85% of the time. Seriously. Okay? So that, like I said, that's your homework if you're ready for it. But do not say, I'm kind of ready for it. Then don't do it. Okay? Don't start it till you're ready to be intentional. So remember, do everything that you are doing, from getting dressed to going on a walk to doing the laundry to eating. Do it with intention, and what will be helpful for that is to do the gratitude every morning. 10 minutes of gratitude. Pen to paper. Don't be doing it in your head. Pen to paper. You know me. I am the queen of notebooks. Get yourself several, because we have them for everything. Positive, negative journal, gratitude journal, data dump journal, mood journal, goal journal, structure journal. Like there's so much. Organizational journal. Like I have journals like I own Staples. So this is a good time. This is New Year. Again, it's kind of irrelevant because time only exists right now. But as humans, we do things based in years. Okay? So here's the deal. Put it together. Put intention down there. Don't tell me you're going to lose 20 pounds. Don't tell me you're going to get off socials. Don't tell me you're going to organize rooms. That means nothing. How are you going to do it? Well, I'm just going to start here. No, did you write it down? Did you intentionally put it down on paper? Do you have a plan written out on paper? Then it's just a dream. So get it together. Take a deep breath. And remember, social media as a tool is an amazing thing. But you don't want to scroll your life away.